Good evening. I'm Marty Smith. I joined the college staff in January as the Vice President for Institutional Advancement. It's a great privilege to be a part of the Millsaps family, and I am particularly happy to welcome you to this virtual Founders Day event as one of my first official duties. While I'm sorry we are not able to meet in person this year, I am thankful that technology allows us to get together virtually to celebrate the founding of Millsaps. This event is also our time to celebrate your individual and collective generosity to the college. Your contributions of time, talent, and resources create the opportunities and provide the tools that students and faculty use to stretch themselves and produce world-class citizen scholars. So tonight, we recognize and celebrate our Founders Society, members who have given $1 million or more to Millsaps. Your vision, your financial support, and your names are forever linked to our founders' vision of providing scholastic opportunities to any student qualified to succeed at Millsaps. And to all our Millsaps stands for today. Our Excellentiam Council members have made cumulative gifts of $500,000 or more, and the Betts Galloway Society includes people who make annual gifts to the college of $25,000 or more. We also recognize the Heritage Society, which comprised of donors who have made a planned gift to the college. A large portion of our endowment has come from your generosity. Your gifts benefit the college and its students far beyond the year in which it's given. Much thanks also to individuals who have established endowed funds at Millsaps to support student scholarships, academic programs, and provide critical support year after year. Thank you for your investment in Millsaps and all that these endowments make possible for our students. And now I'm happy to turn to Millsaps President Rob Perigin for comments.
Keep alert, stand firm in your faith, be courageous, be strong, do everything in love. These words from 1 Corinthians chapter 16 are words to live by, not only in challenging and unpredictable times such as these, but always. As we come together tonight, once again virtually, to celebrate the founding and founders of Millsaps College on this anniversary, I hear these words echoing across generations of Millsaps students and throughout the buildings and grounds of our beautiful campus. Keep alert, stand firm in your faith, be courageous and strong, do everything in love. In today's ever-changing world, disruptions caused by a pandemic, natural disasters, rumors of war, social unrest, economic downturns, and a local crisis of water supply seems to have almost become the norm. We move from one adversity to another with increasing frequency, and the pace of even positive change can be head-spinning. While it is tempting to declare that ours is the most disruptive time of all, I think about the college's early years and the extraordinary dislocations in society at that time. Founded close to the turn into the 20th century, those early decades of college life were rife with local and global change and challenge. Urban areas grew dramatically throughout the nation. Immigration skyrocketed. The automobile changed life forever in America. Prohibition ruled. Women earned the right to vote. Our country fought in the First World War, and the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918 killed more than 50 million people worldwide. Here on our campus in 1914, 24 years after the college's founding, fire destroyed the main building of campus, Old Main. A story in the purple and white described the events as follows, quote, "The fire which consumed Old Main building left two things which were noticed by all. One was the central brick tower, which, though subjected to an awful test and stripped of all ornamentation, still reigned high and rugged in grandeur. And the other was the spirit of men, alumni, trustees, and students who believe firmly in a great Millsaps. And cannot someone see the connection between these two? The tower still standing firm, towering high above the ruin below. In the spirit of these men who even now see standing upon the ashes of the great old building an even greater main building. The PNW article went on to say, quote, "The news was flashed on January 28, 1914, that Millsaps College had been destroyed by fire." And then the writers responded with this thought: what a queer statement. The college was not burned, was not even halted in its progress by the conflagration which destroyed its principal building. True, it was a loss. It was the original building of the college and had wrapped up in itself all that pertained to Millsaps. And there was a sentimental attachment to the old building, which is not easy to define, but which was felt by all. But now we look to the future. We believe that the supporters of the college will rally and that an even greater building will soon take the place of the old. The men that have worked so long for the college cannot help but hope that in this time of opportunity, we may place on our campus a building which shall be strong enough to resist sudden destruction and the wear of time, magnificent enough to hold its place in triumph, for the time when our present college will be known as great all over our Southland. By the end of 1914, a new main building was constructed. That building was named Murrah Hall in 1934 for one of our founders, William Belton Murrah, the first president of the college. And it stands today as one of our most beautiful structures. And Millsaps did indeed earn and maintains the reputation of being great over all the Southland, throughout the nation and in other parts of the world. To say that the last 2 years have been a challenge is an understatement. We, all of us, have been through a test. But I'm pleased to say that our work has not been halted. Just as the leaders in 1914, including the principal founders, Reuben Webster Millsaps, Charles Betts Galloway, and William Belton Murrah, believed firmly that the Millsaps spirit would carry them through the fiery disruptions of campus, so have our students, faculty, and staff risen to the challenge of the day with unmatched dedication and determination. And you, our alumni, trustees, parents, and friends, our loyal and generous supporters, have proven your love for Millsaps through your gifts of time, talent, and treasure. You are the ones who give the college strength and energy to carry on the legacy of Millsaps, even in the face of profound change and challenge. You make it possible for us to heal, grow, and flourish. To you, we are deeply grateful. As I reflect on current times and imagine what Millsapians in 1914 must have felt, I think our greatest lessons learned are, as St. Paul wrote in 1 Corinthians, to keep alert, whether rushing to remove valuable resources from a burning building or quickly moving to online teaching and learning at the onset of a global pandemic. We must be prepared to act quickly and decisively. Stay firm in our faith, knowing there is a God watching over all and that we are not alone. We are a community of faith and a people who believe in and care deeply about Millsaps and all that it stands for. We have faith enough to move mountains, if that's what it calls for. Be courageous. It's up to us to look for opportunities in the midst of adversity and change, to act as bold and responsible leaders, and to do what is good and right, not just for the present time, but for all generations to come. Be strong. We were reminded to take heart, to be resilient, and to know that we will come out better on the other side, and to do everything in love. Most important of all, in this community of students, faculty, staff, alumni, parents, and friends, we must act with charity and love for this great college and for each other. It's now my privilege to turn the program over to two of our outstanding students and one of our extraordinary alums. They are testimony to the sense of belonging that we hope all who pass through our gates will experience, and they exemplify lives of learning, leadership, and service that are hallmarks of the Millsaps experience. Lydia Grizel is a senior from Jackson, Mississippi, majoring in communications. She serves as a presidential ambassador in our admission office and member of the Rotaract Club, a community service organization sponsored by the Rotary Club of North Jackson. Lydia has taken advantage of several internships opportunities for Millsap students, including business development and intern operations and logistic intern at Canopy Children's Solutions, where internship opportunities were funded by the Robert N. Herron Foundation. She has also served as communication and education intern at Mississippi Public Broadcasting and a House Committee on Homeland Security with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. She currently works as a deputy clerk with the City of Jackson. Newland Gillihan is a senior from Macomb, Mississippi, majoring in biology. He is a recipient of the Selby and Richard McRae Scholarship and works on campus as a resident assistant. A member of the men's basketball team, Newland serves as an executive officer with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes and a member of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. He is a winner of the Joseph B. Price General Chemistry Award, a member of Phi Eta Sigma recognizing academic achievement among freshmen, Alpha Epsilon Delta, the Pre-Health Honorary Society, and a member of the student affiliates of the American Chemical Society. Newland also served as a student representative of the college's recent Strategic Planning Steering Committee. And alumna, Reverend Lisa Garvin. Lisa's service to Millsaps College began in her student days when she was an active member of the campus ministry team, the second vice president of the Student Body Association, and chaplain for Tri Delta sorority. After graduating in 1993 with a degree in European Studies, Lisa earned her Master of Divinity from Emory University's Candler School of Theology and a Juris Master in Human Rights from Emory University's School of Law. Lisa returned to Millsaps to serve as college chaplain from 2005 to 2008. She was Director of Ministerial Services for the Bishop's Cabinet in the Mississippi Conference of the United Methodist Church from 2008 to 2012. With a lifelong commitment to church-related higher education, in 2009, she became the chaplain and minister to Emory University and was later named Associate Dean of the Chapel and Religious Life. While in Georgia, Lisa served on the Georgia Prison Ministry Board and the local advisory committee for Aid Atlanta. She has a special interest in human rights and racial justice and has led journeys of reconciliation to South Africa, Bosnia and Herzegovina, the U.S.-Mexico border, and Cuba. In 2009, Lisa also began an 8-year term on the Millsaps Board of Trustees and began a tradition that continues today of a Friday morning chapel service before each meeting of the full board. In her work building bridges between Millsaps and the broader Jackson community, Lisa stood in places with great need and worked with others to make those places more whole, more just, and more holy. For her service to the college, Lisa received the Jim Livesey Service Award in 2019. Currently, Lisa leads the Office of the Chaplain and Religious Life Staff at affiliated campus ministries at Southern Methodist University in Dallas. Now it is my pleasure to invite Lydia, Newland, and Lisa to share with you their Millsaps experience. Thank you.
I appreciate Dr. Peregrina's story about resilience of the college in challenging times. I am a college student, therefore I am an expert on this theme. As a student, the expectation is that you are resilient in your studies, no matter the challenge, because a time will come when the challenge is over, you must reflect on the work you've done. For some, that work may be in any of the science or mathematic fields. For others, it might be philosophy or communications. No matter the task or goal in mind, Millsaps has enabled me to come into contact and learn about all that the world has to offer, both inside and outside the classroom. Our campus curriculum not only ensures that all students receive a well-rounded education, but experience as well. I'm pretty sure that any audience in 2022, when we refer to challenging times, the first thing that comes to mind is the COVID-19 pandemic. But as a student, challenging times are presented in many more ways than just one. As a senior here at Millsaps, the highlight of my time is the epitome of this theme. Millsaps has given me two things that I can take and use for the rest of my life: education and experience. As mentioned earlier, through our very own Center for Career Education, I was afforded the opportunity to work at Canopy Children's Solutions. I've also been a presidential ambassador, this being my third year serving. As a freshman, I joined the pep band and the jazz ensemble, and along the way, I became a senator in student government, joined Rotaract, became a member of PASA, or the Pan-African Student Alliance, formerly known as the Black Student Union, Lighthouse Black Girls Project, Millsaps FCA, and wrote articles for the Purple and White magazine. These experiences, accompanied with the education received, I've been able to venture into fields outside of my academic setting, representing this very institution. In the summer of 2021, I was able to intern for the House Committee on Homeland Security and the Select Committee at our nation's capital in Washington, D.C. Currently, I serve in our very own capital city in City Hall as a deputy clerk. And as my time as an undergraduate student comes to an end, I plan to continue my educational tenure here at Millsaps College to obtain a master's in business finance, after which I will attend the University of Mississippi's School of Law. The foundation that I've received through the application of this liberal arts education has enabled me to fearlessly enter rooms and conversations and wake up every day ready to be resilient no matter the challenge. At Millsaps, being successful becomes a personal quality rather than an occasional achievement. And this is because students here are given the tools to be resilient and navigate these challenging times. And for this alone, I appreciate the existence of this institution. Thank you.
Good evening. I want to begin by thanking the founders, alumni, and trustees for supporting students like myself in achieving our education. Thank you for supporting Millsaps. The institution continues to thrive and flourish with your generous spirit. I also want to personally thank the McCray family. Thank you for granting me the opportunity to attend the institution of my dreams. Without your generous spirit, I would not be speaking to you today. While I understand that most students are not particularly fond of classes or schoolwork, I don't fit the norm. I can safely say that I am a nerd. I love to learn and read about different academic concepts and ideologies. Therefore, with its excellent academic reputation, Millsaps has been the perfect fit for me, providing the necessary resources and environment to fuel my love for the education. Throughout my career, I have taken a variety of courses ranging from chemistries to history. Despite the rigorous coursework, most of my classes have been thoroughly enjoyable thanks to the distinguished professors of Millsaps College. The professors have dedicated their time to teaching their courses in an engaging and an enthusiastic manner. The small class size has allowed me to form relationships with my professors and my classmates, relationships that extend beyond the classroom. In fact, several of my professors have even taken an interest in my life outside of the classroom, even congratulating me on athletic success and supporting my Christian faith. As a student, I could sense that my professors truly wanted to see me succeed both in and out of the classroom. It was these professors and students of Millsaps that ultimately steered me toward a future as a physician. That being said, next year I plan to attend the University of Mississippi Medical School. And I can safely say that that would not be the case if it were not for my Millsaps education. Through courses at Millsaps such as biochemistry, immunology, and histology, I found a passion for the biological sciences, especially that associated with human health. Millsaps faculty helped me identify this passion and supported me in my striving for a future in medicine. At Millsaps, I discovered the difference between truly learning and memorizing, which is already and will certainly prove crucial in my success academically. Thanks to members of the Millsaps community, I am excited to begin the next chapter of my life and confident that I am prepared for whatever academic challenges await. In addition to academics, Millsaps gave me the opportunity to play college basketball for 4 years. Along with the simple joy of competing in the game of basketball, I learned several lessons from my experience here. How to push through adversity, how to lead individuals toward a common goal, and how to accept both failure and success are lessons I have learned from my Millsaps basketball career. With the lessons learned, I will forever carry fond memories associated with competing. Memories such as sitting around with my friends in fire pit in Colorado, watching movies in the skybox with my teammates, cracking jokes in the locker room, and devouring root beer floats in the cafeteria. As a small college, Millsaps offers students a vast array of opportunities to connect with other students via clubs, organizations, and teams. While I participated in several different clubs and organizations on campus, my most fulfilling role has been serving as an RA, or a residential assistant. As an RA, I developed skills associated with conflict resolution and in-person confrontation, both of which will be beneficial as my future in a physician. During my time as an RA, I have met many students, formed new friendships, and personally seen students shed their shell of social reservation and become active, outspoken members of the community. That is why my experiences as an RA were most fulfilling, to simply meet new students and get them acclimated to life at Millsaps. As a Christian, my faith is the most important aspect of my life. Luckily, my faith is only strengthened during my time at Millsaps. As an executive leader of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, I was given the opportunity to participate in worship services and meetings. I was given an outlet to express in my religious beliefs. I met friends and fellow believers that bolstered my faith, pushing me toward a deeper relationship with Christ. While Millsaps paved the way for me to go deeper in my religious faith, I've also learned the importance of engaging in conversations with others who have different religious beliefs, others from different ethnicities and cultural backgrounds. Instead of isolating myself from others who hold different beliefs, I have learned to accept and respect others' beliefs while also preserving my own. Being able to respect and understand others' beliefs has allowed me to garner new friendships with students from a variety of different backgrounds. If I had to choose one aspect of Millsaps that has had the greatest impact on my love for the school, it would be the people I have met and the friendships I have formed. With such a diverse student body, I've had the pleasure of meeting students from a variety of different cultural, social, racial, and religious backgrounds. I have formed friendships with students who are pursuing health-related careers like myself, as well as with students who are looking to attain a vastly different future. I can't help but smile as I think of the sweet memories of chatting in the Leggett living room, of sitting in rocking chairs in the bowl with the sunshine beaming down, of attending on-campus events, and of crying with laughter in the cafeteria. Despite the several 8 a.m. classes I have taken, I have almost always woken up excited to go to school. Sure, I'm a nerd, so that plays a role in it. I like school. But the real source of my enthusiasm and energy for going to school every day has been simply interacting with my classmates and my friends. The small campus of Millsaps has given me friendships and relationships that I will forever cherish and carry with me wherever I go. Through my time at Millsaps, I have not simply attended an institution, I have become a member of a community, the distinguished community of Millsaps College. Thank you for granting my fellow students and I the opportunity to attend Millsaps College. It is certainly a privilege that I do not take for granted. Thank you.
Good evening from the blustery campus of Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas. I am grateful to President Rob Perigin and Susan Womack for inviting me to be a part of the 133rd celebration of the founding of Millsaps College. I've enjoyed being a part of this celebration as the chaplain to the college in the early 2000s and as a member of the Heritage Society more recently. I regret that my responsibilities here tonight prohibit me from being in Jackson. I wish we could all be together in person, inspired by the presence of John Wesley, Mahatma Gandhi, and Eudora Welty, who light the paths across campus. I look forward to seeing many of you there for spring homecoming activities in April. While I'm grateful for the invitation, it is a significant challenge to offer comments on this occasion and to this segment of the Millsaps family. You all are already Millsaps' greatest supporters. You appreciate and have invested in this little Methodist college in Jackson, Mississippi. And by now, you've heard from two of Millsaps' finest current students. If you've been a part of Founders Day for a while, you've had the opportunity to hear from many of Millsaps' finest students. And you know that Millsaps graduates are everywhere, doing extraordinary things. And many more of us are everywhere, doing ordinary things that make a major difference in the world and in our communities. What can I say that will inspire you, or at least begin to capture this special place, Millsaps College? As Rob mentioned, I serve as the chaplain and minister to the university at SMU, a sister United Methodist institution. And I've also served as chaplain at Emory University and Millsaps. I spend my days accompanying students as they discern their gifts and passions and make decisions about academic pathways for offering themselves in service in the world. My Millsaps experience as a student, college chaplain, and as a trustee informs my work every single day. This past fall, I participated in a one-day conference hosted by New York University for faculty and university chaplains focused on our shared work of the humanities and meaning making. One of the presenters was Roosevelt Montas, a faculty member at Columbia University who served for 10 years as the director of Columbia's Center for Core Curriculum, a model for liberal arts education in this country. His recent book, Rescuing Socrates: How the Great Books Changed My Life and Why They Matter for a New Generation, focuses on the great Western thinkers who are at the center of American and European liberal arts education, and the value that they continue to offer to contemporary students and society. In the rapidly changing landscape of higher education, with increasing pressure to prepare students for a real job and gainful employment, Montas offers a compelling testimony to the capacity of a liberal education to prepare and equip students for real-world jobs. In a society experiencing unprecedented political polarization, Montas reminds us that liberal education is not a covert political agenda, but rather it opens and expands our minds and our hearts. Quoting Plato, Montas reminds us that education is not putting knowledge into souls that lack it, but rather redirects what is already present in each of us, drawing out what is already there and cultivating it for the good. To educate literally means to draw out. Montas defines the goal of higher education as to reorient the soul of a student toward inquiry into the human good. Liberal education, he says, is not for making a living, but for living meaningfully. And I would argue, because it has been my personal experience, that making a living flows from living meaningfully. The two are not mutually exclusive. One does not take a vow of poverty, nor do you have to live in a cloistered religious community to live meaningfully. In fact, for me, I came to Millsaps College with big dreams and a very narrow worldview. Hattiesburg, Mississippi was the center of the universe, and Estes Park, Colorado was the furthest I'd ever traveled from there. My first semester at Millsaps, the Berlin Wall fell. My junior year, the World Wide Web was introduced as a new resource and made it possible for me to borrow books from across the country to write my senior thesis. The world literally opened up while I was at Millsaps. I left with a Bachelor's of Art in European Studies and equipped to make a living and to live meaningfully. In Rescuing Socrates, Professor Montas looks at the great thinkers, Augustine, Socrates, Freud, and Gandhi, whose ideas are foundational to liberal education. Tonight, since we can't be on campus, I want to take you on a short virtual walk across campus to encounter 3 permanent residents of Millsaps College, Mahatma Gandhi, John Wesley, and Eudora Welty. They keep watch over our special community, and like the ancient philosophers, their wisdom remains relevant for students today and for each one of us. There is so much that each of these wise ones teaches us, but for the sake of time, I want to suggest one thing that I wish today's Millsaps students and all visitors to campus would discover as a value the college seeks to instill. Interestingly, Gandhi was the first to arrive on campus, sometime in the early 2000s, I believe, a gift of the Indian American Association of Mississippi. At that time, the fastest growing ethnic population in the state of Mississippi was South Asian immigrants. And Gandhi's presence on campus reflects the growing diversity not only of the state of Mississippi, but of our campus and the growing diversity of the world. Gandhi is heralded for many things. His selfless commitment to equality and living and teaching principles of nonviolence that strongly influenced Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., among others, and the American Civil Rights Movement. Professor Montas highlights something about Gandhi that we don't often associate with his life, and that is his failure. According to Montas, Gandhi failed to achieve almost everything he set out to accomplish. His big campaigns against untouchability, for Hindu-Muslim unity, for nonviolence as a national creed, for the empowerment of women, all these things produced only mixed results, closer to failure than to success. Yet in a deeper sense, Gandhi seems to have succeeded in changing something fundamental about the world in which we live. I hope Gandhi's presence here encourages students to commit their full selves to just, equitable, and peaceful society, even though it seems impossible. I trust that when we fail, we'll be surrounded by a community of love and forgiveness that picks us up and dusts us off, cries with us when our hearts are broken, and laughs at us and with us when we take ourselves too seriously and when only humor can lighten our load. As you might imagine, when the Methodists learned that Gandhi had taken up residence just outside the bowl, we immediately sent for Uncle Johnny, John Wesley, to get on his horse and get to Jackson. Led by Kay Barksdale, longtime director of church relations, and a gazillion other titles during her time here, and other faithful United Methodist alumni, a statue of John Wesley was commissioned, and around 2006, John Wesley took up residence between the bell tower and the bowl. As a lifelong United Methodist and a United Methodist clergy person, it's hard for me to narrow down all that John Wesley offers to the campus community. Overall, I hope that what students and all who visit campus learn from Mr. Wesley is that nurturing one's spirit is critically important and of equal importance with nurturing one's mind. Methodism started on a college campus, Oxford University in England, when a group of young men, they were all young men at the time, gathered regularly in what they called the Holy Club. In addition to studying for their classes, they checked in on their spiritual disciplines. Each was asked if he had read his Bible, participated in worship, prayed, and visited the sick and in prison. I hope that Mr. Wesley's presence on this campus reminds everyone who walks by that the goal of higher education is to reorient the soul of each student toward inquiry into the human good. College is intellectual work and it's spiritual work. College is personal and it is communal. Mr. Wesley reminds us of that. And finally, the one who ever actually visited Millsaps in real life, Miss Eudora Welty. She took up residence on the west side of campus in 2017, just in front of the Major's tomb. The first assignment I remember the first semester of my freshman year was to read One Writer's Beginning, an autobiography of Miss Welty, mostly set in a half-mile radius of Millsaps College, and taught by the world's preeminent Welty scholar, Dr. Suzanne Mars. And while I was a student there, occasionally one would have a sighting of Miss Welty at Jitney 14. Of course, I don't think anyone should graduate from Millsaps without reading at least one work of Miss Welty's and experiencing her literary brilliance. Beyond that, the value I wish every student and visitor to campus would learn from Miss Welty is a deep sense of place, loyalty to home. Miss Welty traveled the world, but her heart was always on Pinehurst Drive in Jackson, Mississippi. Through her stories and her photography, she told the stories of this community and the state of Mississippi to the whole world. Her art was born out of the deep challenges and the dark history of the people of Mississippi. And she sought to share with the world the abundant riches of the poorest state in the Union. Some view Millsaps' location in Mississippi, in the heart of Jackson, as a liability. The median household income in Jackson is less than $40,000. Millsaps' tuition is, well, it's more than that. The math may not make sense, but it's not a math problem. It's a values proposition. I've heard Rob Perrigan say on several occasions, students and their families should choose Millsaps College because it's in Mississippi, not in spite of that fact. It may sound crazy or even hypocritical for me to say this, standing on this hilltop in Dallas, Texas. So before I say it, let me say this. Like Miss Welty, no matter where I live, my heart will always be in Mississippi. Mississippi and the world need Millsaps now more than ever. and your current and future investments in Millsaps College make a world-class education accessible to middle-class families like mine and to the poorer classes of the state, as Major Reuben Webster Millsaps envisioned. Thank you all for your commitment and your investment in Millsaps College. I believe Major Millsaps would be shocked and delighted by all that Millsaps has contributed to the local community and to the world for the past 133 years. Rooted in the rich traditions of Methodism and liberal arts education, and inspired by the wisdom of Gandhi, Wesley, and Welty, may Millsaps College continue to transform lives across the street and around the globe. Go Majors.
Well, one of the wonderful things about an evening and an event like this is it gives us the opportunity as an institution to say thank you to our many donors who have invested in Millsaps College and the impact that you're making. The other thing is it gives us an opportunity, or gives you an opportunity, to meet a couple of our students who you are investing in. You are changing young lives. Every student on this campus, their life has changed because of the investment you make, and it's a game changer for many of them. So once again, we say thank you. Thank you for joining us this evening. We look forward to being with you next year, hopefully live. But as we close our program, please join the Millsaps singers in the singing of the Alma Mater.